do if it turns out there is a pay gap?
Well, the companies are required to correct it. So as soon as a company figures out that there is something wrong, they basically raise the wages of those that have not been paid fairly. And in many of those cases, it is women who are getting pay raises, but in some cases it's also men who get pay raises when the standard shows that they are not being paid fairly for their work.
In the U.S., employers often find loopholes. They either give people different titles, or maybe they argue that people come to jobs with different prior experience. Do you expect employers in Iceland to do the same?
The standard actually allows for that. It basically sort of like, it's a set of equations that basically sort of like, number one, you need to quantify what the value of the job that the worker does is to the company. Of course, in Iceland, about 8% of the country is unionized. So we already have a market that is heavily regulated. Something that I know that is not the case in the United States. But what I find most exciting about the standard is that the standard can be used even in the United States, even if it's not on a mandatory basis, because the equal pay standard is a standard that's written up to international code. It's an ISO standard. So companies in the US could perceivably use it and then basically use it as a part of the marketing.
So you're saying a company could say, our products are made by a workforce that pays women and men equally, the audit proves it, and use that as an advertising point.
Absolutely. So basically as a consumer, that I go into a store and I make a choice that I'm only going to buy products that are fair trade or products that are organic. And I can make a choice that I'm only going to buy products from a company that, has a certification saying that, I'm an equal pay company.
It sounds like these audits could be expensive. Are any employers expressing concern about the cost to businesses?
Yeah, the audits will conceivably be expensive. And that's why in Iceland we are starting with the biggest companies that have the most resources. But it's a question of what kind of society do we want to live in. If you want to run a business in Iceland, you have to be willing to pay men and women equally. So this is a cost that we decided that it would be of benefit to society, and that was of more benefit than saving companies money.
Brynhildur Heather and Dómarsdóttir, thanks so much for joining us.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
She's with the Icelandic Women's Rights Association. Well, Robert, This is it.
This is it.
Your last day as host of All Things Considered after 30 years.
Yeah.
Listeners have a lot of thoughts and feelings about this milestone, and we wanted to take a moment to hear from some of them. So our co-hosts Audie Cornish and Kelly McEvers join me to help.
Hey there, Robert. The listeners we heard from, they come from all walks of life.
I'm a truck driver with my husband.
Speech therapist.
A hospice social worker.
I am 74 and retired.
And they say they'll miss a lot of things about you, Robert. One thing most of all. Here's Eudora Evans of Harvey, Louisiana, and Kelly Perdue of Grand Rapids.
He has a soothing voice to me. Like, it's not soothing where it will put you to sleep, but it's just really calm.
And a kind of all is right in the world.
There was just always something welcoming about turning on the radio, at 3 or 4 p.m. and having him be the first voice that I hear, right after the news.
That's Helmar Menz of Portland, Oregon.
He is kind of a father figure. I don't know him as a person, but just the range of introspection that listening to his voice allows.